Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to another Divine Loss program. It is a blessing that all of us in the circle of positivity and giving on behalf of others can nourish our souls as we begin a new cycle with the immortal laws that shall guide us to imperishable happiness. As we start another new year, many of us may be already thinking about the famous New Year resolutions. How about if we committed ourselves to understanding and aligning ourselves more with the divine laws? For this, beloved friends, is the very sacred purpose for which we reincarnated, and this lifetime is ever so special because we have the promised consoler within the realms of our hearts and within the realms of reason, our reasoning. We can bring the heart and the mind together in beautiful unison to help us grow towards our spiritual developmental goals that are ever progressing. What a beautiful divine plan coming directly from God, not only for the new year, but also for immortality. Why wait until our next lifetime to start reaching our spiritual developmental milestones? Why not start now? Let that be our New Year resolution. So, what might our milestones be? Let us think about it together as we study question 964 of the Spirit's Book by Allan Kardec. Let us now read the question, then also study the answer, bring about a couple highlights, and propose a therapeutic exercise for all of us. Let us begin this precious opportunity to study and learn together. In question 964, Kardec asks, must God be concerned with each of our actions in order to reward or punish us? Aren't most of such actions insignificant to God? Let us hear the illuminated Spirit's answers to such an important question. How many of us in this circle of prayer and fraternity, and also beyond this circle, may ask ourselves this very same question? Does God care for each and every one of our actions? Let us now hear the answer from the illuminated spirits working under Christ's guidance. They say to Kardec and to all of us that God has established the divine laws that regulate all your actions. If you violate them, the fault is yours. Obviously, when people commit an excess, God does not pronounce sentence on them by saying, for example, you are a glutton and I am going to punish you. But God has set a limit. Maladies and sometimes death are the consequences of excess. Thus, the punishment, it results from breaking a law. Everything happens in this way. What a precise, brief, but very illuminating answer for all of us, beloved friends. We now come to understand that all of our actions will cause a particular reaction. This is a law of physics that governs not only the physical realm, but also the spiritual and immortal realm of life. And all of us are submitted to the same law. If it were not so, God would not be just. So we know that God is immortal and unchangeable, and so are God's laws. So, how about, beloved friends, if we learn to take responsibility for our actions? Often, you and I, all of us here, may have the habit of saying, why me? Why has this happened to us? If so and so had not acted in this particular way, if we only knew, if they had told us the truth, how many of us are used to perceiving the world around us as an unjust world that is out to punish us? This illuminated answer from the illuminated spirits tell us that we are no victims and that no one is out to punish us, that simply our actions have caused us to face the particular reactions that we are facing now. What if we say to ourselves, but Carol, we haven't done anything specifically to cause such a situation to take place? Well, beloved friends, if we cannot find the root cause of a situation in our present lifetime, it is because it comes from a previous existence. Let us think, for instance, of a hypothetical scenario. Let us say that we, when we were children, were spanked by our mother. We could say, why us? How can we forgive such an occurrence? How can this happen? Why did God allow that to happen? While, of course, none of us here will applaud physical violence at all whatsoever, and we are not justifying it in any ways, if we look at this occurrence from an eternal, immortal perspective, we may come to realize that the mother who was once enraged acted in such a way not because of her own impulses, but because our own obsessors from previous lives may have influenced her to act in this way. Yes, the mother will respond for the consequences of her actions. But can we blame the mother ourselves? Can we make justice with our own hands? No, because what we faced in our childhood, hypothetically, is but a consequence of a previous set of choices that we have made. So if we look at the circumstances in our lives from an eternal angle and perspective, we no longer need or take in the victim card. We can simply tear the victim card apart, throw it away, recycle it. And when we face a difficult circumstance, we say to ourselves, we will pray, We will trust God and we will take responsibility for the situation, acting in accordance to the Christ consciousness. The model that Jesus Christ, our Master, has left us is not one of a blame game, but rather one of forgiveness and understanding, seeking the best in a set of circumstances, rather than pushing the problems away, asking them to disappear in some kind of magical thinking. Master Jesus has taught us to seek the good in the situation, even when it's challenging. How so? We can ask ourselves, instead of why us, we can say, well, God loves us. Thus, if this is happening, it is because there is a loving lesson for us to learn. The simple shift in perspective takes us away from the victim mentality, which tends to paralyze us and empowers us to take responsibility for our actions, seeking the good in the present, which God has given to us. So, what is the present that you and I are going to unfold in this new year? How shall we revisit important circumstances in our lives to find the good in them? What is the developmental, spiritual, eternal milestone that God wishes for us to achieve in this lifetime? A lot for us to think about so we can formulate eternal resolutions that go through this year to come and many, many more, even more, because we see ourselves as eternal spirits who never cease to progress. What a beautiful and empowering perspective that Spiritism grants us. What a blessing, dear friends. We wish everyone here, either live or on demand, a beautiful encounter with Master Jesus in the realms of their hearts as we seek to develop eternal resolutions together. Thank you, dear friends, and we look forward to seeing everyone again next time. A big hug to everyone, and please stay tuned right here on Kardec Radio, where, of course, we are always nourishing our souls. Bye for now, dear friends.